For the first time, the real weapon that was crucial in the operation to arrest Venezuelan President Maduro is being revealed. A new weapon, a decisive weapon, a weapon that doesn't fire bullets, doesn't need thousands of soldiers, doesn't appear in military parades, a new weapon capable of toppling countries with just one click, with just the press of a single button. And what's dangerous today is that this weapon is not only in America's hands, but Russia also possesses it and might use it against Europe tomorrow. China also has it and might use it against Taiwan, and other countries might have it too. It was never expected at all, which means that the scenario of Maduro's arrest is something we will see a lot in the coming period. Today we will reveal exactly how Maduro fell. What is this secret weapon that decided this battle? And why do I say that what happened in Venezuela will soon be repeated in other countries? Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our program today in this renewed episode, God willing, from the series of episodes. Today, dear viewers, we will answer one of the most important questions that still occupies everyone's minds, even though more than 3 days have passed since the Venezuela operation and the arrest of the Venezuelan President Maduro. The question that perhaps confuses everyone today is, how did this scenario happen? How were the American forces able to carry out this special operation with such boldness, such speed in execution, and with minimal possible losses? Today, dear viewers, we will reveal one of the most dangerous weapons, without which this operation would not have succeeded, and without which America would not have dared. A new weapon, a very dangerous weapon. I truly consider it the weapon of our era, and I believe it was finally revealed during this operation in Venezuela. And this means that this weapon could be easily used by Russia in an attack on Europe, to control the countries of the European Union, and it also means that even China could use this weapon in the process of annexing Taiwan. We might even see it used in the coming period by medium power countries like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, India, Pakistan, and so on. So before revealing this new weapon, I'll first present to you the details of this American attack. How did this American attack happen? How exactly did this attack start? How did it end? Because now some information is starting to leak, or the details of this operation are gradually starting to come out. So the first thing the American army did at the beginning of this operation, and what they actually did, was carry out an air raid on the Venezuelan capital, Caracas. The air raid targeted the airport, targeted air defense sites, targeted Venezuelan military communication centers, and then also targeted a military base that included a shelter for the Venezuelan President Maduro. He was hiding in it. In case there were coup attempts or anything like that, pay close attention to these numbers I'm about to show you, because they are very large numbers. This airstrike involved 150 military aircraft at once. 150 military aircraft. Some of them had a defensive role, meaning they protected the attack aircraft by preventing any Venezuelan aircraft from taking off from any military airport, basically paralyzing Venezuelan aviation. Others had a tactical offensive role, carrying out the airstrikes. On another note, this operation saw the participation of the B-1 Lancer strategic bomber and also involved a large number of drones. In addition to this, there was also the participation of a crucial element in this operation, which is the 160th Special Operations Regiment, which of course uses attack helicopters in its military interventions. They are responsible for transporting Delta Force troops to the location. So what did this massive attack with such a large number of aircraft lead to? It led to the disabling of air defense systems, the disruption of military communications, cutting off military communications between the command and the elements of the Venezuelan army, and it also led to power outages in some areas of the capital, Caracas. As a result, the helicopters found themselves flying over the capital, Caracas, without any defensive interference. Because even the soldiers deployed in the country, especially those carrying shoulder-mounted air defenses, like bazookas or others, found themselves without any communication with the command. First, they hear the sound of the helicopter, but they can't see it. They don't know its exact direction because of the power outage and lack of public lighting. Second, they hear the sound of the helicopter, but they don't know if it's a Venezuelan helicopter or if it belongs to the enemy. They try to contact the command to get orders to strike or shoot down these aircraft, but it's useless. The communications are cut off, and it's known that a military man cannot use his weapon unless he receives orders from his superiors. There may have been some anti-aircraft missile attacks, but they were very limited and had no significant impact on the American army, because even this helicopter is equipped with its own defensive systems. So what's important here is what happened. The helicopters arrived at the residence of President Maduro. There, the resistance came from the president's special guard forces. These forces are made up of the Venezuelan army and the Cuban army. Maduro was very careful. There was a Venezuelan guard unit and there was another Cuban guard unit. And this is for security reasons, to avoid the scenario of a military coup. All the leaders of the world, especially those threatened by military coups, assign different security formations to their guards, each with different leadership. It's difficult for them to reach an agreement to carry out a military coup, or they assign teams from other nationalities, a local team along with a foreign team together, so that there is no trust or agreement between the leaders of the guards. That's why we find that the leaders of countries who rely on a single Republican guard are always exposed to military coups, meaning they are always more vulnerable to military coups. For example, even the former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had a security team from Russia. So the important thing is that Maduro had a Venezuelan unit and another from Cuba. The point here is, when the American forces reached Maduro's headquarters, that's it. There was no more talk. There were clashes. But here, whoever has air superiority will definitely win, especially when this attack happens. I mean, it's pre-planned, very precisely. I mean, they say that for months, special forces trained to storm a headquarters that looks exactly like Maduro's residence in detail. They say they trained for this raid for hundreds of hours. So Maduro was arrested and the forces were evacuated, as if nothing happened. Trump made statements saying that the operation didn't have any human casualties. He said there was some damage to one of the helicopters and there were minor injuries to some of the American forces. Is this true? No. In such an operation, losses are inevitable. The forces protecting Maduro were more than 100 personnel, and they were also special forces, trained and highly equipped forces. But America always hides such facts, and this has been the case in all previous American military interventions, whether in Iraq, Afghanistan or Yugoslavia. America always hides the number of losses, as part of psychological and media warfare and so on, until one day, maybe many years later, the real losses are finally revealed. For example, the air defenses of Yugoslavia shot down an American F-117 aircraft, but America did not admit this until more than 20 years after the incident. Subscribe today, maybe it's the same thing. An operation like this in Venezuela can't happen without any losses. You can't talk about clashes with 100 or more special forces where 80 of them died, while the American forces say they had no losses, and these American forces participated with 200 personnel. America will eventually admit this truth. What matters is that the operation happened exactly this way today. And here we come to the most important point in our episode today. How did this happen? What is the secret behind this success? What is this weapon? The secret that was decisive in this operation and was used for the first time by America before mentioning this weapon? Everyone should know that America's power today, as it has been over the past decades, is intelligence. An operation like this cannot succeed without major intelligence work and without the presence of traitors. People affiliated with the army or presidential palace, either internally from the army or the palace. So America, months before carrying out this operation, gathers information. The deployment areas of the Venezuelan army, the locations of air defense systems, and how military communications are conducted. How many night guards does the president have? Where does the Venezuelan president sleep? When does he sleep? When does he wake up? Where does the capital's electricity come from? That means all information, whether small or large, is collected by American intelligence, to the extent that they even offered a United States dollars, 50 million reward for anyone who provides information about President Maduro. That's a huge number, a tempting amount. I mean, anyone in the Venezuelan army, anyone from the president's inner circle, could be tempted by this amount and provide information. So America gathered a huge amount of information and provided it to this secret weapon that has become decisive today in modern wars, the weapon of artificial intelligence. We're talking specifically about the Palantir Artificial Intelligence Platform. This platform has created a new revolution and will be used in all future wars. It has become the future of warfare. Basically, all this intelligence information, along with the general map, road maps, and other types of maps, is entered into a single artificial intelligence platform. This AI then analyzes all this data in just 1 second and presents the best scenario and the best attack plans. It determines exactly how many soldiers you will need, how many aircraft, how many vehicles, what is the best time to launch the attack. Where will you start from? What is the day of the attack exactly? How will the operation end? Almost everything, the entire plan, is presented to you in just 1 second. And this information is always being updated by Mizajo, always continuously updated. For example, if an air defense system was located on a certain street, number 1, and suddenly it moved to another street, number 2, for example, this information is also entered, that it is now on street number 2. That means there is always continuous updating, so that the plan is always ready with just 1 click. Information flows quickly. All kinds of information, even if it's ordinary information, must be provided to the artificial intelligence as a database, so it gives us the best possible plan. This is the secret that made America use 150 aircraft in this attack at the same moment. Artificial intelligence provided a quick plan, a decisive plan in just half an hour, and it cannot fail. Israel was the first to use this weapon. It used it in Gaza, and it used it in Iran when it struck by launching missiles all at once, and it used it in the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah in Lebanon. And it was supposed to be used in the same way to arrest or assassinate Khamenei in Iran. The plan was ready at that time, and Netanyahu, as everyone remembers, repeatedly threatened to eliminate Khamenei, meaning the plan was 100% ready. Trump was the one who stopped this scenario since the war with Israel. Iran arrested over 20,000 people for espionage. It's possible all of them were giving information to foreign intelligence. The information is given to artificial intelligence, which then produces summaries, analyses, and ready-made plans based on it. This weapon is very dangerous. It has become decisive today. So when Trump comes out today and threatens every country in the region, from Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, and so on, he knows exactly what he's threatening. He knows that the scenario that happened in Venezuela is very easy to repeat in other countries. Why? Because he has a massive base of intelligence data in all these countries. So with just 1 click, the plan comes out ready and successful, tailored to each country individually. So maybe the question today is, how can this weapon be confronted? The matter is easy, simple, and also difficult at the same time. First of all, before anything else, the country must be cleansed of all traitors and spies. because without the information provided by the spies, this weapon would have no effectiveness. If everyone noticed, Iran has arrested more than 20,000 spies and maybe has pushed this danger away. Even Netanyahu recently sent a reassuring message to Russia that he will not strike Iran now. The president of Colombia also ordered the expulsion of all Colombian soldiers loyal to America. So maybe these countries might have started to realize the danger of this weapon. Maybe there is awareness of the danger of this weapon and its existence. So a process of elimination has started there. So the power that this weapon draws from comes from whom? From traitors and spies? The second thing is change. The constant change of the army's positions and air defenses, missile launch sites, and so on. The areas where the head of state resides. All these elements must be constantly changed to confuse the available data. Ultimately, the traitors must be eliminated. So now Trump not only feels the thrill of victory, he also feels greatness. He feels great because he has a powerful weapon that he can use successfully against all these countries, and that's why he's threatening the public. That's why he came out with full confidence and clarity to say that the western half of the globe should be America's backyard. But of course, things are not settled. There are changes happening. Of course, we don't currently know how things will turn out. All scenarios are possible. Even the opposite scenario, as I explained to you in the previous episode, is possible. Excessive force always leads to collapse. That's all for now. Please subscribe and like. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.